Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Well, welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. Use that number, 951-922-3532. There's about 30 phones in that bank, and none of them are ringing right now. I am looking for somebody with some questions. Bring them on. So, other than that, please call, email, or visit drheckham.com. That's drhecm.com, and that stands for, I am the doctor, of course, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. So that means you are converting equity into something liquid. It doesn't mean you're taking it. And remember, you can always email me at bestloantoday@gmail.com. And when you look at the website, drheckham.com or theeducatedretirementradio.com, be sure to go over to the YouTube channel about halfway down the page. And you'll see all the shows that we've had there. Sometimes it takes me a couple days to get them back up there, but I get them up there. Also, if there's anything you want to review from a guest that we've had in the past, it's all there. Lots and lots of pages of great information. And don't you think it's about time you just found out some information about what you've been hearing about? So my off-air number, 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And I also have one of these for that. So figure that one out. Except for my day job at the Loan Source. Excuse me. My NMLS number, by the way, is 384565. That's my national lending license number. For California, we have one for Department of Real Estate. I do not, sell real estate, but of course I can put you in contact with whoever you need to be in contact with so you can make up your own mind. But that number is 792-630. And I threw this out last week, and I think it's worth repeating one more time. A quick reminder. As you recall, there's a book written by one of California's most esteemed elder care attorneys, Susan B. Geffen. That book is called Take That Nursing Home and Shove It. Could there ever be a more focused time to take that to heart? At the same time, I know there are a lot of people working at those homes that are working very, very hard, and nothing against them, and God bless them. But if at all possible, I don't think you want any of your loved ones or yourself in a nursing home. Get prepared. Right now, over 70% of our population believes that the health care they already have covers long-term care, and it does not. I just read an article, and I'm not going to keep reading articles to you but I just thought this was pretty funny, about the pros and cons of a reverse mortgage. It was on Google or something. One of the cons was, I don't get all of my money. I don't get the whole value of my home. Well, here people are worried about losing equity in their home, and yet they're complaining about not losing all the equity in their home. No. You keep a whole lot outside of the process that's not touched. And what is touched can easily be a line of credit which has still never left your equity. And another con is that you have to pay your property taxes. Gee whiz. Who doesn't have to pay property taxes and insurance? And another thing is costs. Let me tell you, the costs do not have to be that high, and in many cases they're not high at all. So that's something you need to talk with someone like myself about completely, because the costs are not in outer space. So, and then it says it's a good thing that no shortage is passed on to the heirs after the bank sells the home. And if there is equity remaining, isn't it wonderful the bank gives it to the heirs? Well, what on earth are they talking about? The bank is not selling the house, it's the heirs that are now in control of the house, whether they want to sell it, keep it, refinance it, whatever it is, or whether they've been left enough insurance money, whatever, to pay it off. And that insurance money can come right from, well, the HECM itself when the parents bought the insurance or whatever else. So today is International Radio Commercials Day, believe it or not. And it commemorates the very first radio commercial that was in 1922, that lasted 15 minutes for apartments in Jackson Heights, Queens, on the station of WEAF. So can you imagine the beginning of radio? They were probably, and went on a long time. Even department stores built their own radio stations so they could sell their stuff. It took them a while to get their act together into how to monetize. I think the internet has done a pretty good job of that itself. It's also International Read Comics in Public. Be proud to be a geek in public. There's a couple, at least maybe not are the classics, but comic book for us, number one. And of course, one of my favorite characters, and my wife's too, although like this. Now I'm going to show you a graphic novel. This is not a comic book. I just wanted to bring it up because this is one of the best novels I think I've ever read. It's always in the top 100 novels of the 20th century. It is, yes, it looks like that, but let me tell you, I don't know about the TV series. The movie was okay, but this is it. You need to take a look at that. And as far as graphic novels, my wife had to make sure that she got her favorite angel in there. Okay, so smile time, I guess. I don't think I've ever seen a whole angel episode from beginning to end, but so be it. So here's some facts, okay? What's that? The facts. The Hulk was originally supposed to be gray, not green, but was portrayed so because of a printing malfunction. Figure that out. And Michael Jackson wanted to play Spider-Man so much that he tried to buy Marvel Comics in the 1990s. And Nicholas Coppola took his stage name from a Marvel comic character, Nicolas Cage. So with that, I think we'll throw it into a break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Take care and stay there. I hate to break into that music, but I am. I'm going to bring back some memories back to 2008, when thousands and thousands of older homeowners lost their homes because there was no such thing as forbearance, let alone help paying other bills. If those people had a HECM, home equity conversion mortgage, they would probably not have lost their home, probably have as much or more equity in it now than they did before. So learn more how to protect what you already have. Isn't it about time, whether it's with me, whatever, call, okay? And why? Because you need to know more about choices you really have and how to protect what you already have. 866-955-2233. 866-955-2233. I have a team of experts that can and will help you. So please make use of us. And for those people who have a mortgage that they're asking for forbearance, those with HELOCs, remember HELOCs are being frozen, new ones sometimes are not available. But with the home equity conversion, that is just up to you. Forbearance is you because you are as much of the bank as anyone. So remember, we believe in challenging the status quo, and families need to be active, not pre-active. Whose birthday today? Well, this is a name that probably won't roll right off the top of your memory, but E. E. Clive, 19, I don't think so. it's 1879, right? Must have come into our world in 1879 and flew off in 1940. Again, probably not a household name, but you will recognize him. He was the Burgermeister in Bride of Frankenstein and a whole bunch of other stuff. So he started off as a medical student who turned vaudeville, then into so many movie monsters, including, like I said, The Bride of Frankenstein, which of course is the best of probably all of the Universal films from that era. I believe this is the first film period of any genre that had its absolute own soundtrack. Thank you. And he was also in a few other things, like Foreign Correspondent and House of Dracula, several Dracula movies too. Dracula's Daughter, excuse me, I get the family mixed up. Anyway, the vaudeville he started with was with the Orpheum Circuit here in the U.S., and the Orpheum in L.A. is right across the street from the old United Artists Theater, now a part of the Ace Hotel. An up-and-coming area of 9th Street in what they call kind of the South Park area. Even though Depp is selling his four penthouses on the top of the Eastern Building, both of the theaters are really magnificent to look at, and yes, you can get into them. Also, 1962, David Fincher popped into our world. And when Fincher first moved to Los Angeles at the age of 2, the poor guy moved in next door or real close to George Lucas. Now, what kind of a break is that? All right. He was eventually hired by Industrial Light and Magic as an assistant cameraman, working on Return of the Jedi, Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom. And he started with lots and lots of commercials and music videos, which he didn't care for that much. And then good old Alien 3. And here we go. I remember there was a lot of talk when Alien 3 came out that why would a commercial and a music video director be involved? I liked Alien 3. Some people do, some people isn't. Alien number 1, of course, to me is by far way better than Aliens number 2, because one is a real horror movie and the other one is just an action movie. But I thought Alien 3 was good. And other than that, I guess he went on to do a few more hits, like Seven, which I do have, but I don't have The Game. And
that was a good movie.
My favorite of them would be Fight Club. Although they say the social whatever it is best, but I really like the Fight Club. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and like I said, Social Network and a few of those other things. But just to round things out, Ben Gazzara came here in 1930 and left in 2012. Jack Black, 1969. Donald O'Connor, 1925 to 2003. And that's about all the birthdays we have for today. We can take us another break. And with that, Sean will probably bring in Laurie a few minutes early, okay? Is that all right with you, sir? Our
Sure.
engineer?
Sure.
Okay, so let's take a little break, get cool, and we'll see you in a minute. Hey, welcome back to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your favorite station, 1490 KMET AM radio. And we're going to bring Laurie in just a little bit earlier. As I finish off my normal other stuff, just want to remind you that in this uncertainty, we need to stabilize our environment, meaning it's time to empower our retirement for now and for the future. Uncertainty out, peace of mind, and something you can count on always being there for you. That should be in. And remember, HECM, that is HECM, home equity conversion mortgage, means you are only giving your equity liquidity. You're giving yourself choices. What happened on this day in history? In 1946, a movie, The Killers, debuted. Now, that's a big deal. You might not think so at first, but it's a film by Robert Siodmak, and it was the first film to force a New York City theater to stay open 24 hours a day showing the film, based on a short story by Hemingway, and it was Burt Lancaster's first film. So it was also the first credited role for William Conrad, who I did see at Musso and Frank's one day, but he's not around anymore. One, as you can see, I have a copy here. They made it twice. This one directed by Robert Siodmak for the movies. Then there was another one directed by Siegel, Don Siegel, for television. So it was a big deal. And the composer used the first few notes of the theme from The Killers for Dragnet. So historically and culturally significant it was said to be, and then selected by the Library of Congress. So, and then the one by Don Siegel was with Angie Dickinson and John Cassavetes. And then as a race car driver, and then they found out Cassavetes could barely drive at all, and Marvin was barely sober at all. But Henry Mancini music from Touch of Evil, remember him also from Orson Welles and Musso and Frank? They reused the music from Touch of Evil, and that was re-edited for this film. So one thing I thought, this is kind of cool. The same composer did music for Spellbound. Now these are 78s, and yes, I have a jukebox that plays 78s also. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. So some older movies that made big hits. Now, as you must recall, Laurie has been with us several times before, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Actually, let me turn
And
on the camera.
saving people taxes right and left, right?
Yep, that's correct. Okay, can you see me now?
I can see you now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's my specialty. So
Go ahead and one thing before and if anybody wants to join the conversation, at 951-922-3532 to ask any questions, because we are in a really weird period of time. I don't even know. Go ahead and tell us what changes and what things have changed since this all the COVID and everything else having to do with taxes and
Right, right.
timing.
There's been quite a bit. So, first of all, my title's an enrolled agent. I service the Orange County and LA County primarily, but I'm licensed to represent clients all over the US and even outside of the US. So, I'm admitted to practice before the IRS to represent for audits, collections, and tax preparation. My website is eliasincometax.com. If you have any questions, if anybody listening has any questions, they can go on the contact us page and they can email me there directly, or they can call me at 714-773-4000. Again, my name's Laurie. And so, yeah, there's been a lot of changes. I mean, everybody just was kind of lost with taxes. The tax deadline got pushed back. Just there was just a lot going on, especially the stimulus checks that went out to a lot of people. And some people did qualify, some people did not qualify based on income. So I had a lot of questions about that. I don't know if you heard all that, commotion when that those stimulus payments were going out, Jay.
Oh yeah, but I'm not sure what it was all,
Right. Yeah, and even if you owed taxes, so that was something that was a little bit different. Even if you owed taxes, you still received the stimulus payment. So, based on your income, based on your 2018 or your 2019 income. The neat thing about this, it's a refundable credit, which means you don't have to pay it back. So
now you're talking. I like those loans.
yeah, exactly. Finally, something for free, right?
Well, it's not exactly. Yeah, that's
Not
free.
exactly, not
A
exactly.
reverse mortgage, you don't have to pay back till much later, until after the equity in your home has hopefully overcome what you owe. But
Right.
that's not exactly the same thing. So
Right,
I'm
not
saying.
exactly the same thing. Yeah, so the neat thing is that it doesn't get included into your gross income. It's not going to be subject to taxes, but
Oh,
you do have to report it in your 2020 taxes. So it does have to be reported. Now, it won't affect it, so you're not going to get a higher refund or lower refund because of it. However, it does have to be reported. Now, if you didn't receive it for whatever reason, or you had a child in 2019, you can claim that difference and obtain it with your refund for 2020 for next year. So you're not going to miss out on it completely. Another really neat thing is, let's just say you weren't even supposed to get it. You're disqualified based because your income was too high, but for whatever reason in 2018 you were qualified because your income was lower. You don't have to pay that back either. So that's another, pretty neat
and
thing.
I know there's been confusion as to how many checks go out also.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I mean, that's another thing about this. I get a lot of questions on the second round of stimulus checks. That's based on Congress if they're going to pass it or not. You know, if they do, though, it'll be relatively quick. We should get it a couple weeks after it's been approved, but we don't know that yet. So we're just kind of on, standstill there.
Well,
So then the next thing is, with unemployment, a lot of people were getting unemployment this year, especially independent contractors. I don't know if you knew you would have qualified, Jay.
I don't know if I would. I don't know. I was still, even though I had all that pancreatitis and I was in the hospital and that, I was still doing business.
Uh-huh.
So I
Oh,
probably would not have, ethically, I would not have qualified,
right,
period.
right,
So we
right.
can stop right there,
Okay,
probably.
yeah. So that's for self-employed independent contractors. Um, you know, were able to actually get unemployment because a lot of these jobs did stop. Here, for example, hairdressers, barbers. I mean, acupuncture therapists, whatever it is, that they had to be shut down. So they all qualified. I had a lot of storefront businesses, if anything, they were qualified. So that was another thing. I did encourage a lot of my clients to select, the box to have federal taxes withheld on that. Because you don't want to it's not free money. You still have to report it and you still pay taxes on it. People think because it's unemployment, they don't have to pay taxes on
No,
it.
that's in place of employment, so it's income.
Right, right. And then you have to consider it's added income. So if you made money from January through March, this is an additional amount that you'll have to be reporting. So So yeah, I mean that's another thing to be careful about. As far as basically today, I just want to talk about updates, just general updates or reminders. One of them is that the corporate tax deadline is coming up. That's right around the corner, 2 weeks away. September 15th is for LLCs and S corps. So just please, the extension was good enough for a few months, but it's time to file. So I have a lot of people that I'm surprised I haven't heard back from, but it's right around the corner now.
Did they think that it was put off, sent?
Yeah,
like
you know what? I think they do, or they just, I was talking to quite a few clients this morning, just like, hey, do you realize you only have 2 weeks left? And a lot of them were shocked. So I just started making my rounds of calls. So I don't think I told you, but I took about 3 weeks off.
You did tell me.
Yeah, I think I
Good,
emailed
and good for you.
Yes. So now I'm ready to go back to work, and a lot of people just kind of put it off anyways. So, but yeah, it's time to file those. Also, October 15th is the next deadline for personal income taxes.
Yes, that's my April 15th.
Right. I actually filed taxes. I know, right? I actually filed my taxes on time. I usually file an extension file before October 15th, but I did file on time this year.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm likely to do that but it seems like once you've done it 1 year, it's like, well, you want to wait another year, right? So you always put it off to.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, I know exactly. But
And there is somewhat of a penalty for that, though, isn't there?
yeah. So a lot of people, what they don't realize that only because you file the extension, it doesn't mean it's an extension to pay later. You are supposed to still pay.
I always took it that way.
No, a lot of people do. They're like, I don't understand what these penalties are for. Now, the only penalty you do get waived or not included is a failure to file. So that's what the extension saves you from. But in terms of the penalty, you still have the failure to pay, and interest also accumulates for not having paid in April.
Now, does interest change based on what type of a debt it is with the IRS?
No. The IRS sets interest rates, so that does change. So it's not necessarily always consistent, but it does change from time to time or every few months. Or
18 or 22%?
No, it's not that high. It's not. But the scary part is still it is accumulated interest. So it does, it can become much larger sometimes than the original debt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we all know because we're self-employed, it's like it could accumulate if you don't pay it off. So also another thing I do want to touch on is estimated tax payments. Also, that is September 15th. By now, your third installment should have been paid for estimated tax payments. So they did allow 2 estimated tax payments to be due by July 15th. But now you should be a little bit more caught up, pay the third one by September 15th. Some people don't know how much to pay on their estimated tax payments. So I always tell people, if you want to be on the safe side, you should pay the equal amount from the prior year. So if you owed $5,000 for the 2019 tax return, you should pay $5,000 of quarterly installments before the new year. And another thing is, and also you don't get penalized for paying either, that 100% equal to, or at least 90% of what you estimate your tax liability will be. So for whatever reason this year, the IRS has really been getting on people's cases about not doing this. I've had several clients in the last week just contact me saying, hey, I paid my tax bill, but why did I get this big, this interest or, underpayment penalty? And I tell them because those quarterly estimated payments had to have been done, so they want their money, in their equal parts. So you don't have a big, check to pay at the end, by April. So this is actually a really good time. We have 4 months left in the year now. A lot of clients also reach out to me about, doing a tax analysis, where they stand now, whether you made a lot more money, less money. I know a lot of people are hit financially this year, but still some people are still scared that they'll still owe. So, I can do with a year-to-date profit and loss statement or year-to-date pay stubs with, other information about child care, if you cashed out your 401k, whatever else you bought a house, you might want to know what you were expecting to pay and if we need to put you on estimated payments now.
Because a lot of people have done things this year that they normally did not do before.
Oh, yeah,
It's
exactly.
a very strange year.
Yeah, it's going to be one very strange year. It seems like every year there's something strange going on with taxes, but I'm up to date with things. Like I say, my website's EliasIncomeTax.com. They could reach me at the office. Again, the number 714-773-4000. Even my cell phone number, I'll give it on air. It's 714-457-6350. And I answer people's questions. I do a lot of consultations, whether it's for tax analysis. Another thing I've been doing a lot of lately is consultations of new businesses.
Oh,
This pandemic really has brought the creativity in a lot of people on doing their businesses mobile, or selling products online, or just starting an online business. So it's created that opportunity there. So what I tell people, before you just start running a business without really knowing what you're doing, you can get a business consultation with me, and I could explain the differences, like
boy,
between
starting an online business, this is really, I mean, people who are, let's say, there's zillions of like pop-up vendors at swap meets and farmers markets. And
right.
I mean, you can't sell produce usually over the internet. Well, I guess you could, but a lot of the craft people, this is the time.
Uh-huh. Oh
This,
yeah, this is definitely the time. That's why I say it's pretty interesting what people have come up with, like as far as mobile businesses, and great ideas and things to make it easier, during this time. So we don't know when it's going to go back to normal. I mean, I wish you knew, but we don't know.
I read a story about someone who does what I do, reverse mortgages in Colorado,
Uh-huh.
who got himself this big RV
Uh-huh.
and painted it up like a building
Uh-huh.
with a reverse mortgage sign on it and drove it around to places. But
Oh,
but still, you're still looking at face-to-face people, so I'm not sure that's the real
right.
thing. But
Right.
luckily, a lot of our businesses we can do via internet and
Right.
face,
Right.
looking at each other.
Exactly. Now, did it have an impact? I know, well, you were in the hospital too, though, but did you feel an impact?
Well, when the COVID stuff first started, there was a huge scare in the mortgage industry itself, and we lost a lot of ground. We had interest rates that were really, really low from the Fed and all that, but it was not reflected in the mortgage rates.
I see.
That fixed itself. So right now we're doing really well. Got the lowest rates probably that I can
Great.
ever remember.
Oh, yeah.
And with reverse mortgages, the lower the rate is, the higher the benefit or the higher the line of credit, even if you're not going to use it. I've
Right.
got some people redoing theirs because they're doubling, they're lowering the interest rate they have now and doubling or tripling the amount they have in the line of credit, which costs them nothing in that
Right.
line of credit. So
Right. Exactly.
that's a perfect time. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about you and
Yeah.
taxes. But
Yeah. And taxes.
everything you take from a reverse mortgage is tax free. Go ahead. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Right. Exactly. So another thing that I do want to discuss is going back to these penalties. I bring this up because now people have already filed their taxes, or people that owed are finally filing their taxes. So I do want to tell people there's such thing as a penalty waiver from the IRS that they granted to you, believe it or not.
I want it.
Huh?
I want it.
Yeah, no, I know. And you could use it as long as you haven't had any prior penalties the prior 3 years. You can use it. It's called the first time penalty abatement.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry about that. First time, and
yeah.
I may be the first time for several things, but that ain't one of them.
Right, exactly. So, if you received a tax bill that has penalties in it, there's a few criteria that you have to meet. You have to have filed all your tax returns. You must have paid or arranged to pay all your taxes due. And lastly, have a clean penalty history. So, like no prior penalties for the preceding 3 years. But I encourage a lot of my clients, actually, once you get that bill that says, okay, tax due, but if there's, maybe penalties on there, it's as easy as just calling the IRS and asking for this.
Or call you and have you interpret for them.
And I could do that too. Yeah, some clients are just really terrified. They just don't even want to speak to the IRS. So I can speak to them on their behalf, and I can request this on their behalf as well, with the power of attorney. So the power of attorney takes care of that. So that's where I have the authority to speak to the IRS on their behalf. So if you're terrified of speaking to the IRS, I'll do it for you. So you don't have to worry about that. Then another thing also I want to touch base on is health insurance. The open enrollment is right around the corner.
That's right. It's also October.
Yeah, exactly. October, November. So, I always encourage, take advantage of the health savings account, the HSAs, because it's a tax advantage account. You set aside pre-tax dollars, and, you can, the contributions are tax deductible up to whatever your annual maximum is, based on age, based on.
I don't really, I've heard of it, but I don't know too much about that. Now I'm in the Medicare area, obviously.
Uh-huh.
The meta agent, the meta old stuff, which let me tell you, co-pays can still be expensive from antibiotics I was taking.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if you had planned this, but can you give like a quick overview of how that works? Because there's probably a lot of younger people and other people that this would make a really good sense for.
Right. So HSAs, basically you can set some money aside, pre-tax dollars. For a family, the deduction is up to $7,100. So
that's pre-tax.
Pre-tax, yes. So you set this money aside, and then as you need medical expenses, you're able to take distributions out tax-free. It's not like a 401k, you get penalized for taking this out. I encourage it, especially for families that have children, that need braces, or they're always going to the doctor, or whatever it may be. You can use it for that.
So this sounds too good to be true. You're saying so you could pay for medical expenses before taxes and never have to recover those taxes for Uncle Sam.
Correct. You just basically have to report it, but you don't get penalized.
You're limited to a certain amount though, right? Is that family size or per year?
Yeah, you're per year. Yeah, it's $7,100 per family up to the age of 55, and I think after 55 you could contribute another $1,000.
Wow.
So yeah, I always tell people to talk to me right before you're going to make any of those decisions. I know there's also child care benefits that some companies offer up to $5,000, and that's also pre-tax dollars.
And now if they were going to do that, who would they go to set that up? Would they go to you to start setting that up?
No. So they would have to set that up with their human resources. The human resources, usually when they do the open enrollment, they do it at that time.
Okay. How about somebody that's like an independent contractor or something like that?
So this is not available to independent contractors. Yeah. So they would just have to independent contractors just have to get their insurance through Covered California.
Okay.
And, make sure that they report the correct income too. Covered California has a lot of insurance agents that help you with the process. So make sure you find a good one or a good referral. And they usually go based on your income, the previous year's income.
But if you have a medium-sized company or something, or I don't know what the minimum might be, then you might be able to put that together.
Right, exactly. And offer it to your, to your employees.
And then if you leave that company, you would obviously, I don't know if you could roll that over into something else that's tax-free or just have to pay the taxes on it. But
no, yeah, with HSAs, that one I believe, I can't remember off the top of my head if that one's if that could be rolled over into the following year. Actually, I'll have to get back to you. I didn't make additional notes for that.
I'm just trying to learn from it because I wish everybody could do it. That sounds like a fantastic thing to put into place.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, let me see. As far as, I don't know if you had any other questions or any other, things that you wanted to discuss, but It's just going to be an interesting tax year. Make sure you go to a great tax preparer that's going to give you all the options, benefits that you'll be able to, you know, take advantage of. Especially like we've discussed before, some people don't know that they can claim their parents, even though they don't live with their parents. But you take care of over 50% of their household expenses.
Oh,
Claim your parents, or even if it's your student. Even if it's even an adult, you could claim their tuition and still claim them as a dependent, even if the I call them child, but they're older students, college students. But they could still claim their taxes and get a refund because
wow.
they paid federal income taxes, and also be claimed by their parents.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of, I've seen the mistake sometimes that college students file their own taxes because they're excited, and they gyp their parents from the benefit of claiming the tuition, and basically either head of household or just a dependent credit. So I always tell college students, to just hold off and make sure they check with their parents, because a lot of the times their parents are still supporting them financially. So
Well,
yeah,
lots of times they are, yeah.
yeah. So and I mean, and then after college, of course, then they could still write off their student loan interest.
Mhm.
And make sure that all the items are written off, in terms of, some
Mhm.
students tell me, oh, I forgot to claim my books, I forgot to claim whatever it may be. So make sure there's a good tracking by the parent or the student, if the student's not
Now,
doing
are
a
you
good
seeing
job.
clients in person with social distancing?
No, not really, to be honest with you. I haven't really
What was
seen.
the name of that group? What was it from the 90s? Social Disorder? You may be too young to remember those music groups. Anyway,
I really don't remember. Hey, Dan, no oigo. No, I don't remember that group. So,
a
well, no,
lot of your.
so I haven't seen any clients. And you know what the ironic thing is, that I had a huge boost of clients during this pandemic. A lot of, because especially with tax offices, a lot of them are brick and mortar, and people are just used to walking in or making an appointment, and sitting down with their tax preparer, CPA, or enrolled agent. So I have a tax cloud. It's a secured online system. It's very easy. I was very surprised. Even people that told me they're not tech savvy and they have no clue, um, they were able to use it.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, now, some people just don't want to learn, but I encouraged, even because they said, oh no, I'm an older person, I don't even like the
Hey,
computer.
come on now. It's us old people that invented this stuff. Now,
Right.
working with the set of people I usually work with, they're usually pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, they're good on Zoom. They can do
Right.
this, that, or whatever. Share screens, they're okay with. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
even in your case, you're good at like video editing and things like that. So you don't fall into that category, Jay. You know?
Well, I try. I do my regular editing, which I'll do probably as soon as Sean sends me this. But then I do that DaVinci Resolve stuff,
Right.
and that drives me nuts. But I'm getting there.
Oh, okay. Hopefully
Because
Leslie
then
was
there's
able.
then there's camera movements and close-ups and
Right.
that I could add in.
Yeah, I don't know if Leslie was able to help you at one
Yes, to one extent, yeah, to that one, yeah, she was very nice.
Oh, good, good. Yeah. So, yeah, she's an expert in that sort of stuff. But yeah, so no, it was very easy. So still to this day, I have this tax cloud online system, makes it very easy. I'm trying to still not see clients in person, and of course, if we do the mask, we have to follow all the regulations. But
Mm,
basically, everybody was really great as long as they have an email address and a camera
yeah.
phone. You
Now
could
here's
upload
one
documents
very
that way.
important thing we disagreed on a little bit.
What was that?
The Invisible Man.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So what happened? You didn't like it? I thought it was
No,
pretty
no, I did like it. I thought, and my wife loved it. I thought it was a little too long.
okay.
I thought that it turned out with her being, without trying to give away anything, her ending up trying to be every bit as vindictive as he was,
Right.
which I didn't think was necessary. And that's reminded me of Midsummer,
Oh
where
yeah.
she tried to be,
Uh-huh.
where she loved being as bad as he was.
Right. Right.
And I didn't. And the thing is, there was a part in the parking lot where all of a sudden everybody could see that her story was true.
Uh-huh.
Why didn't it end there?
Oh, yeah, I know,
And
right?
and I don't know if we're
Well,
supposed to believe that guy was walled up in that wall for all those months. I don't think so. I don't.
yeah, that was a far-fetched thing. You're right. I mean, I still liked it. I like the
Yeah.
suspense part of it for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, the other movie. I was trying to remember what the name was. Speaking of taxes, but it has nothing to do with taxes. It's the tax collector. It has Shia LaBeouf.
Oh. I wonder whatever happened to him lately. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was in that movie. I don't know. Did you hear about it? It's called The
No.
Tax Collector. So I, of course, thinking like, oh man, I wonder what they're gonna discuss or what the movie. I thought it was gonna be like the accountant or something. No, they weren't referring to regular taxes. It was more like a gangster type of, that type of tax collection.
Did you ever see a movie called A Quiet Place?
Yes, that was really good. Isn't there a second part to it?
I think there is one, but I haven't seen it or it's out yet. But that was very, very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, I really like that one. I
And,
mean,
and speaking of your favorite director for Midsummer,
uh-huh.
you and I agree on that.
Oh,
And Martin
yeah.
Scorsese was saying how wonderful. I mean, anyway,
Yeah, I don't
he
know
did
about
a
that.
movie, and I forgot his name, but he did the movie he did before that. I thought was excellent.
Which one?
Hereditary or whatever.
Oh yeah, you really like that movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty good. That was
that was
good.
very imaginative.
Yeah, that was. The other movie I saw that I recommend, it's called The Rental. Have you heard of that one?
No,
It just came out, I think, a couple months ago. It's really good. And you know what? It's not one of those suspenseful or kind of scary. It's not really scary. I guess you could say it's suspenseful. Where did you ever see the movie 13 Cameras?
no,
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind
13
of like
Ghosts, but
no. Oh yeah, I saw that one too. No, it's kind of like this guy, with all these Airbnbs now and rentals. So there's cameras and then
I
there's
see
a
where that's
killer.
going. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean the rental was really good. I hadn't seen a movie that good in a while, but
I miss going to the movies to see the movie.
yeah, me too. Me too. I was happy. I actually saw those two movies in a drive-in theater.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, drive-ins are coming back.
Yeah. And they're really, really like packed. So you have to get there like early enough.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. Well, you should go. Take your wife to drive-in. That would be
I
nice.
better look them up and see. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do watch either the tax collector or the rental, I know
Okay.
those. Yeah. I haven't checked what else has come up, but any recommendations that you give for the weekend as far as movies?
No, I don't. Catching up on Dark and Black Spot on Netflix.
Okay. How's Dark?
I love Dark,
Yeah.
but you got to really get into it.
Oh, okay. All
Do
right.
it. Do it.
Okay.
Do it, and tell me what you think.
One
Okay, I'll
minute.
have to give it
It's about
1 minute.
it's about time, and there's a
Okay.
little steampunk in it too.
okay.
But none of these things are nearly as scary as taxes.
Yeah. I try to make it a light topic.
And nobody can help you with taxes better than you, right? So go ahead and, as we sign off here, give your information one more time.
Sure. Again, my name's Laurie Artiega. My phone number is 714-773-4000. You can ask for Laurie or Elias. Our website is www.eliasincometax.com. And I'm here happily to answer questions. My cell phone also is 714-457-6350. Again, 714-457-6350. So I'm more than happy to answer any audience questions. And,
Laurie,
looking forward
it's
to next time.
great to see you and hear you again.
You too. I'm glad
And
that you're looking
and hopefully we'll get the masks off before too long and have some lunch or whatever. And Sean, thank you so very much, and especially thanks to all of the listeners and watchers. And remember, Kaplan will be here in front of the same cigar store next week. Have
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.